Four Prime Archetypes, Why We Do What We Do, written by Aaron Huey and Martina Kodrin. Now available on Amazon and Kindle and coming soon to audiobook.
All right, welcome back. So, Aaron, could you talk to us about the primary struggles of the warrior archetype? So, the warrior archetype usually struggles with over-promising, but then they under-deliver. So, could you expand on that?
We talk in the book about the struggles. And of course, just like the powers of the archetypes are balanced, so are the struggles. And the warrior's struggle, this over-promise, under-deliver, it comes from a really wonderful place. And look, all of the struggles that people have, the roots of struggle are they're not bad. Like, they just cause struggles. Like, these are amazing things that the archetypes present. And because it's part of their personality, people tend to use it. We're essentially, with the warrior, we're essentially saying to the warrior, look, you're teaching people how to treat you. And so when they treat you the way you've taught them to treat you and you get mad later and have one of your warrior blow-ups, which is not your struggle, by the way. It's actually a warrior blow-up is actually one of your gifts, but we'll address that in a different video. But when you have a blow-up, it'd be like, you can't do this and I can't just always and blah, blah, blah. They're going to be surprised because this will feel like it came from nowhere because you've told them you would help. And the overpromise, underdeliver, that's the warrior's primary struggle. Overpromise, underdeliver. You do it because you want to help. Somebody comes to you and says, hey, I need help moving. Can I get a ride to the airport? The warrior says yes to those things. Not because, you're you feel like you're indebted to people, although warrior debts are a concept that we hold in our psyche, but because you're helping. And that's what the warrior does, is help. They're servants. And if loyalty, which is a big value for the warrior archetype, is loyalty is one of your values. And when someone says, hey, can you run me to the airport? You're like, yeah, sure, no problem. Well, it might be a problem. It's at 3 a.m. That's fine. And let's be clear, Martina, you and I have a very dear friend, Shane, that we share, and that's his warrior side. If you need a ride to the airport, he will get up at 2 a.m. He will drive for a day and a half to get you to an airport. And he lives in Canada. So seriously, driving a day and a half to get to an airport is a realistic concept. But he will do what it takes to get you to the airport on time.
Yeah.
And that's the promise. You want to help. You help them move, you get them to the airport. If they if suddenly they're yelling at someone and that person is yelling back and it looks like they're going to go to blows, as a warrior, you'll help. But in business, this translates to saying yes to projects or yes to ideas or yes to multiple business and income streams. Because you want to do what's right by your vow, and your vows to your family, your vows to your employer, your vows to your customers, your vow, who's your vow to, warriors. And so if your vow is to improve your finances, to support your children better, to support your partner better, and someone says, hey, I got an investment opportunity you should really look at, the warrior looks at it. And they might say yes to it and then not be able to follow through. And there's a concept behind failing to follow through for a warrior. That's not just, I can't do it. Well, crap. Okay, whatever. The warrior doesn't say whatever. You've made a promise to help or to involve yourself or to participate. Mm-hmm. You've promised. Warrior, you may have overpromised. And so when you cannot, and I'm not saying won't, I'm saying cannot, because now you're doing too many things. When you cannot keep all of your promises, people they feel betrayed, they feel let down, they feel like you have, you've not done what you said you're going to do. Mm-hmm. You broke your promise. And really what that means to a warrior is that you've underdelivered. You said you could give a 10. You were only able to give a 7, but that's because you're giving 12 sevens. And that's a lot. That's more than most people have. But that to others, to the individual other, looks like an underdeliver.
Yeah.
So for the warriors to deal with this struggle, you have to manage your workload. How many weapons can you actually carry? How many tools do you have in your tool belt to get the job done? Sometimes you got to stop and walk back to the truck to go get the other tool. Sometimes you got to say, I can't help you. Here's the other thing that warriors have to know. And this is really hard because the overpromise it plays into the psyche, the karmic psyche of the warrior, of the servant and the sacrifice. There are 3 S's we have to talk about that the warriors have to face: servant, sacrifice, and slavery. The difference between service and slavery is choice. Slaves don't have a choice. They have to do it or they'll get killed. Servants choose to do this work. That's why choice is so important to a warrior. And when we say, I'll help you, you help them. And if you can't, you've let them down. You're not following through. You're not keeping your word. You broke your promise.
Yeah.
Well, sacrifice is also one of those S's where you start to deplete yourself to try to keep your promise. And the warrior's self-depletion process leads to an inability. You become incapable of keeping your promise. And when you're incapable of keeping your promise, everybody gets left out. Everybody gets left out, and everybody gets left down. So, warrior, you have to keep a promise to yourself first and foremost. Take care of your body. Because if your body ain't working, your brain ain't working, your soul ain't working, your fire ain't working. Oh, you can always go to that warrior magic fire where out of nowhere you pull out some and you see it. I love this. You see it in athletics. I see it in events I teach that are focused on the warrior archetype. People are completely and totally undone, fatigued. They can barely stand. And then they're reminded of something they love so much they would die for. And that's love. That's not hate. That's love. And from that, loving someone or something so much that you would die for it, that you would kill for it, that you would fight for it. I many years, I have walked up to someone dripping in sweat. They can't lift their arms or their legs anymore. They are bent over or even laying down on the ground, and their chest is heaving, and they are fatigued. They are spent. And I look them in the eye and I say, who would you die for? And they say the name and they start to cry, and they get back up and they start swinging again. And it's like you just unlocked this, extra little bit of energy that they have kept stored in their heart. So yeah, warriors, you have that. But you have to save those for the really, really special moments when the fight is real, not the perceived battle of, whatever, the real battle. Health, well-being, life, limb, those are the real battles. Everything else we attach to those life battles because it gives us power to complete them. So part of battling the underdeliver is making sure, first and foremost, you keep your promise to yourself, warrior, and that's to take care of your body. You get enough sleep, you get enough to eat, healthy food, you drink enough water, you go to the gym, and you do your breathing exercises very purposefully, because that changes the brain game, that changes the body game. Then you can go fight for others. But first you fight for yourself.
Yeah, perfect. I couldn't have said it better myself. And I do remember what you're talking about before with the last ounces of energy when you're completely spent and then something or someone reminds you why you're doing this and you get back up again. Yeah, I can remember those moments. But like you said, you have to make sure that you're not burning the candle on both ends. for too long a time, because then ultimately nothing's going to get done and no one's going to benefit from it. So thank you for explaining this to us, Aaron. And to you viewers, thank you for watching. Make sure, if you have any comments or questions, or you need some clarifications, leave them down below. We're gonna answer them. We're gonna try and answer them, do our best to answer them. Get the book. The book's gonna be linked down below, and we will see you next time. Bye.